So we're driving to California to go to Disneyland, and there's a lady broke down on the side of the road with flat tire, and everybody's just passing her. And so we pass, and then we back up to her, and I come up, hey, what's up? She's like, I don't even know where the spare's at, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we'll change out your wheel. So my son's getting my wheelchair out. I transfer it, and this lady just starts bawling, okay? And we change out her wheel, and now I'm just stickery because the kids were little, but we got her done. Come to find out, she lives here in St. George, and I can't remember her name, but she might be listening to this right now. But that moment changed her life. It did. It changed her perspective on things, and that's really what I want to do, is give other people a perspective that life's hard. It's supposed to be.
Right.
It always has been. It always will be. Get over it and get on with it.
Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by Overstock Dixie. You can go like and follow their Instagram. There's new items that pop up on there every day, multiple times a day. Anything from furniture to tools, electronics, pretty much anything you're looking for. Hey guys, welcome back to the Derick Leg Podcast. We're back in the vault again today. We've got a pretty cool guest on today. I'm excited to talk about his story and everything he's doing now to blow up his name and blow up the world with positivity. So I met him today, so I'm happy to have him on. This is Matt Blanchard. How's it going, Matt?
What is up? Doing good. Doing well.
Dude, I'm excited to have you. We just had Caden Terry on a few episodes ago, and he was adamant that we reach out to you. And so thanks, Caden. Thanks for the hookup on this one. I've stalked you a little bit.
Right on.
And your story is incredible. And it's still going, right? Like you're still just building and building and building. And, and at the end, I kind of want to touch on goals of where you're trying to go and what you're trying to reach with this. So, first of all, you can't even really tell if you're on video, but Matt's in a wheelchair.
Yep.
So when we're telling a lot of these stories, it's coming from Matt that's paralyzed in a wheelchair. We're going to tell the story, kind of what happened. And then if you want a backstory, anything you can.
Okay.
But I'm just going to turn the mic over to you so you can kind of tell whatever backstory you want and then just kind of walk us through the accident, or like I said, if you want to preference something, you can.
Okay. Golden. Yeah. So, throughout my life when I was growing, I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I moved down to St. George in 05, Cinco de Mayo. And along my life, I was an electrical contractor. And throughout my life, I would do crazy things like cliff jump at Lake Powell, not test how deep the water was, or stand up on the back of my Harley going down I-15. And every time I do something like that, it would give me this sense of invincibility. And then I'd get away with it. And I had an ego like you wouldn't believe. And I'd work out every day. I was 6'2", 215 pounds. And January 16th of 06, I cruise out of my house. It's raining cats and dogs in St. George. I jump in my brand new pickup truck, 30 miles on this bad boy, and hurry across town to pick up one of my employees. And as my employee ran through the rain, he jumped in the cab of the truck. He kind of shook the rain off of himself, and now I've got rain all over my cab. I'm pissed.
Bro.
Right? Brand new, brown leather, just his Cummins diesel.
Messed up.
And he points right to me, put your seatbelt on, just like that. 19-year-old kid.
And you're how old?
30.
Okay.
Now I have a company, I have a division in Salt Lake City, Utah, and starting a division in St. George because in 06, things were good. Things were really good. And anyway, it tells me what to do. And instantly, I do not like being told what to do. Even to today, don't like being told what to do. You can ask me, but I just see red as soon as I get told, you have to do this, So I'm like, look, Brett, I'm straight. I'm driving, I'm in control. Let's go. So we jump on the highway to head towards Cedar City, and rain turns to snow. Second time, Brett turns to me, Matt, put your seatbelt on. This time I gave him all the reasons.
Yeah.
Do you
know the safety features on this brand new?
Bro, yeah. And you know what? And I gave him, hey, you know how many accidents happen and you don't need to be wearing or if they were, they'd have been hurt. And Oh, my lands. I'm 6'2", 215. Just ran the St. George Marathon.
Chiseled.
Dude, I'm your boss.
You don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, dude. Don't tell me what to do. So we keep going up the canyon in whiteout conditions, and I'm following a semi-truck. And the whole time, I'm having this conversation in my head. Like, hey, you need to put your seatbelt on. Like, this is sketch. But this other voice saying, hey, if you put your seatbelt on, Brett wins.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You're going to kind of look like a puss.
Yeah, right? Like, you're like, haha, I was right.
Yeah.
Told you should put
you're
that
scared
thing on,
now?
right? Yeah, exactly, right? You're scared now? Although I'm white-knuckled on the steering wheel. So at New Harmony, the semi-truck gets off the freeway, but I was late. And so I go through that semi-truck's tracks, and I can't make out where I-15 starts or stops. And right then, Brett turns to me. He's like, Matt, please put your seatbelt on. And for the third time, I said, nope, not going to happen, man. Not a still small voice, not a warm, funny feeling. Like sitting right next to me, telling me to protect myself. And I said, no. Pride and arrogance. That's what got me. That's why I'm in a wheelchair. Pride and arrogance. So we go through that semi-truck's tracks. I lose control of the back end of my truck. And I end up rolling 2 1/4 times. And the truck ends up on the passenger door, and everything's black. I can't see anything. I'm disoriented, confused. And I realized the reason why I can't see anything is that my hips were covering my face at this point. So my back had gone into the steering wheel, and I literally snapped myself right into. So I look over my head, and I grab my knees and pull them back down the floorboards. And when I did, they kind of just flopped, and I grabbed the right one and couldn't feel it with my hand. And Brett kind of helped me with this one, and I knew immediately. I was like, Brett, I'm paralyzed. And he's buckled in right here. I'm laying on the passenger door, looking straight up. And it took emergency crews 2 hours to drive down and cut us out. Life flight me to LDS Hospital in Salt Lake. And I underwent CTs, MRIs, spent 10 days in ICU, went through 2 surgeries. So my back's held together with 12 titanium screws, 2 rods that run the full length of my spine, and a plate and a basket. And I remember waking up in ICU, and it was dark, it was cold, and I couldn't sit up. And I figured that I was still strapped to that gurney. And as I looked down at my body, I couldn't see anything. So I look at my right hand, and there's electrodes and tubes. And because my goal was I was going to grab my quads and just pull myself up to a sitting position.
Yeah.
And I look at my left hand, there's nothing there. So I reached down and grabbed my quad, and I couldn't feel the touch of my own hand. And it hit like a ton of bricks. Like, this is real. Like that really happened.
Yeah, it wasn't like a stun thing in the truck. This is real now.
Yeah. This is 10 days later. And I just started crying. And tried to figure out how I was going to end things. Because at that point, I didn't want my wife married to a cripple. She hadn't signed up. In my mind, she hadn't signed up to be married to a cripple. She'd married this 6'2", 215
marathon
man.
Runner.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm a better husband today, a better lover, a better father, a better son. You name it. I'm a better human today because of paralysis. But laying there in the trench by yourself, scared out of your mind, if I couldn't be those things, I didn't want to live.
Yeah.
So
kids?
Yeah.
How many kids?
3 kids at the time.
Kids.
So I married my high school sweetheart. I've put up with her for 29 years.
Yeah.
Sorry, babe.
We'll
Love
delete
you.
it.
Love you.
We'll cut it.
So I've been married to my high school sweetheart for 29 years. And we've got 3 amazing kids, 2 boys and a girl. And at the time when I got hurt, they were 6, 8, and 10.
Wow.
And I spent 3 months up at LDS Hospital. The reason why I couldn't sit up in ICU is I didn't know how to anymore.
Right.
So 2 inches above my belly button, everything had been taken, abs and everything else. And so I had to relearn how to roll over and put socks on and get dressed and shower and go to the bath, all the things, man. Like I was a baby again in every way you could think of. And all I wanted to do was walk. I just decided, you know what, I'm going to walk. This paralysis, if you do, you know, what does a spinal cord injury have on me?
Right.
And so I'm going to walk.
I mean, is that just who you were, or was that some arrogance in there too? Or is that just like, I can do hard things?
I can do hard things. So,
Okay.
so my brothers still to this day joke that my toast lands butter side up.
Okay.
Like no matter what adventure I go off on, it's successful.
Yeah.
But that's not by chance. Like that's by going all in and risking to fail.
Right.
You know, and believe me, I've failed at things. But I've succeeded at quite a bit in my life as well. Things that I'm very proud of, such as being a husband and a father. Like I've killed it in that area. Whereas if I had my legs, if I hadn't gotten that accident, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. I was very narcissistic. It was all about me. You could either get on my team or get out of my way. Those were your options. I would bulldoze people. I thrived on intimidation. Like just that guy. Like when you walk into the room, you just kind of pick out, okay. Yeah. Not that I was a fighter. I was a fighter when I was in high school, but just, hey, I'm here type thing.
Right.
So, and if I couldn't be that guy, because I'd been that guy for so long, I didn't know what I was. I didn't know if I was a husband anymore, or I didn't know what I was going to do for a living. I didn't.
Yeah.
So
changes
scary.
Everything.
So scary. So scary.
Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, you're golden. Are you kidding me? No, you're golden. Yeah. So I remember my therapist would say, look, if you can get your socks on, we'll walk. And I remember looking right at him. His name's Casey. My therapist would look right at me and say, hey, you need to get your socks on. And I'd laugh at him. I'm like, my socks on? For real? If I get my socks on, we'll walk. And he's like, you get your socks on and we'll walk. So he throws me a pair of socks and starts to leave the room. And I'm like, yo, where you going? I just got to get my socks on. And he's like, get your socks on, we'll walk. So I start looking down, still can't sit up, I can't do anything, and I certainly couldn't get my socks on.
Yeah.
So I start pulling at my pants, you know, and my legs are big and strong and heavy and cold. And 40 minutes goes by, no socks, sweating, exhausted. And Casey comes back into the room. My therapist comes back into the room, and he says, hey, been 40 minutes. I thought you wanted to walk. That kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
Just pushing buttons. And he says, Matt, do you want help? Do you want help getting your socks on so we can go walk? I'm like, no, I don't need, who needs help getting their socks on, man? Right?
Yeah.
It's socks, bro. And I realized now, I didn't realize then, that we all need help getting our socks on. My socks just look different than your socks. And we can go through this life trying to get our socks on by ourselves, and we will succeed if you never quit. And don't ever quit. Don't ever quit. But if you help me get my socks on and I help you get yours, then we're going places. And we're going places in a hurry, rather than wasting 40 minutes on socks. So he starts to leave the room, and he throws me a lasso, like a lasso to lasso my feet with. So I spend the next 20 minutes just cussing up a storm because I cannot find these feet. And every time I do get the damn lasso over it, I start pulling it and it come off. And so I'm using every cuss word that I know. And doctors and therapists are coming in the room. Hey, are you okay? And I'm going to get my socks on. Leave me alone. Get my socks on. Well, finally, I rope my right foot, pull it up to me, and I'm so far gone that I start having a conversation with my foot. I'm like, really? Hour and 5 minutes? What are we doing, man? We got to walk.
2.5 feet to get up here. That's all you had to do.
Right, exactly. The longest 2.5 feet of my life. Oh, so finally I get both socks on. I am exhausted. Used every cuss word in the book. Made up some.
Sure.
And get my final sock on and throw my foot down to the end of the bed, and kind of makes it halfway because I'm just so exhausted. And Casey comes in clapping. He's like, hey, yo, got your socks on. Let's go walk.
Yeah.
And I just like turn. I'm like, bro, I just got my socks on. You gotta give me a minute. For months we did this. Months, man. And I would not accept help. I just wouldn't accept help. And I pride again, arrogance again. I did this. I didn't need anybody's help. I got this done. And so finally the day comes. I'm like, I wake up earlier than Casey, or than my therapist. And as he comes in the room, I'm ready to rock and roll, man. I'm ready to go walk. And that today he's got my doctor with him. And my doctor looks right at me. He's like, Mr. Blanchard, I understand you want to walk. I'm like, no, you got it wrong, bro. I'm going to walk. And he says, you've suffered a very severe spinal cord injury. And I've treated thousands of spinal cord injuries just like yours throughout my career. It would be a waste of my staff's time and a waste of your energy to focus on walking. Become independent in a wheelchair. Matt, it's impossible. It doesn't happen. You're a T12 complete. It doesn't happen. That's just what I needed to hear.
Right.
And it is. So he leaves the room. Now it's just me and Casey just like this. And I'm like, Casey, we going to go walk? You ready to go walk? And Casey's like, look, did you not just hear what he said? I'm like, yes, I did.
I know your legs don't work, but are you deaf too?
Right. Were your ears affected in the accident? You get a head injury as well? So yeah, I'm like, hey, let's do this. And I'm like, Casey, and I leveraged him. I'm like, bro, you told me. I get my socks on, we're going to walk. You told me. So either you're full of it or you got to go because I got to find people that are going to help me walk. And so I think out of spite, he's like, all right, let's do this. And they hooked me up in Forrest Gump braces. I mean, I can't feel my legs. I still can't roll over. I can get my socks on though.
Yeah.
You know?
Check.
Yeah, check. So I'm thinking, all right, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? They put me in every apparatus you can possibly think of to support my weight. And during therapies, they would move my feet forward and have a mirror in front of me. And they did. They're like, all right, let's do this. If he can do this, this is the guy that's going to do this.
Yeah. And
I didn't walk out of LDS hospital, man. And that was a rough day. That was a rough day because I didn't want to leave because I wasn't walking, and I wasn't leaving that place until I was walking. And then the day came where they had to treat other patients. So now I have to take a drive home. We're going on almost 5 months now. I haven't been home. Now I'm coming back home to St. George, and I don't know if there's steps into my house. I don't remember hallway. I don't know. I'm in a wheelchair now, and there is not a step in or out of my house. The hallways are bigger. The doorways are bigger. It's uncanny, the things we ran into. So we get back home, and I surrounded myself with people who thought maybe with the right attitude and the right effort. And those are two things that we have control of the rest of our life, attitude and effort, man. So like even tonight, I can't make you happy, sad, or anything. I mean, I do my best, but at the end of the day, it's up to you how you're going to allow yourself to feel. And same. You could come in here, light me up, and be like, whoa, time out. You need a hug. That's what I would do. You need a hug? Because let's hug it out. Because hey, you need a hug.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times with either moms and dads, professors, friends, whatever, somebody has a bad day, because we're all allowed to have bad days. And they take that day out on somebody, and they take it personal. And so many people think that this life is about them. And this life is not about you. It's not about me. It's about us.
Right.
So I can help you get your socks on. You can help me get my socks on. It's what we're here for. To leave this place better than the way we found it. Like Boy Scouts, man. We got to leave this camp better than the way we found it. I'm going to leave this life better than the way I found it. And I'm doing it, and you're doing it with this. It's awesome. So thanks for the platform to do this.
Yeah. Two things I want to touch on right there. So you said like, and I could tell right when you came in. So you're proving your own point. You're like, well, I can't make you feel a certain way. I can't make you happy. Dude, I think when you walk into a room, at least when you came in today, you just have this like energy about you that and I have no reason to sit here and float your boat, right? But
Right.
like you have the smile, you have the energy. So yeah, dude, I think when you do walk in places, they probably do light up a little bit. I think how I interpret that might be different. But yeah, dude, I think that, and you know that. I mean, as I'm saying this, I know you know that.
I do. It's a gift. It's my gift from God. I swear. Yeah. And we do it this where, we better stay at the timeline. Right? We better keep in the right timeline, because I'll tell you why I am the way I am. Anyway. So, hey, Matt, it's impossible. So I surrounded myself with people who thought maybe with the right attitude and effort. And we went to work, bro. Like every day, not 5 days a week, every day. Therapy, either biofeedback therapy where they've got electrodes hooked to whatever muscle group I'm trying to fire. Because my muscles were so, the electrical pulses were so small that I had to look at a screen and I would tell my muscle to fire. And if it would even bleep a little bit, I spent years and years in front of that screen telling my muscles to fire. And until the electrical impulses would go climb and climb and climb, until then you could see just a little bit of quiver. And I'll never forget the day that I got my right foot off of my foot stand. And we all just looked at each other. And I'm like, yeah,
it's happening.
This is happening. This is happening. Where there's a will, there's a way. It's not a cliche. It's really not. Like if you can will it, it all starts in your mind. Okay. So your thoughts become your words become your actions, and your actions become your future. So if you're thinking negative thoughts, then you will manifest negative outcomes. That's just the way of it. There's no way to think negative thoughts about things, life, and have a positive outcome. It's not going to happen. So I surround myself with these people, and all the negative, criticizing people, including my mother and father. Now, not that they were negative and criticizing. They're like, Matt, it's never been done. This is impossible. You were just told by this guy, thousands, and nobody's done this.
Till now.
Come home and let us take care of you. Because like any parent would want to do to their kid. And I was like, no, I'm doing this. I'm going to struggle, and it's going to be hard, and I'm going to do it. And after 8 years of therapy every day, I was able to walk with forearm crutches, and walk with forearm crutches anywhere, bro. Anywhere. 8 years. 8 years. Wrap your nugget around that.
Right.
So I put my wheelchair away, and I'm using my forearm crutches and a walker everywhere I go. But for whatever, I can't get my speed up. I can't get my speed up to be cleared by my therapist to be out in public. And so the test I couldn't pass was, you would go to a light, an intersection, and I needed to cross the intersection in time for the light to change.
Okay.
And we would do this exercise over and over in front of the hospital right there on River Road, where there's a Maverick on the other side. Yep. And I would get stuck into the traffic heading south, or every time. And every time, people are honking their horns, giving me the thumbs up. Like,
you're good, man.
Right.
Wait.
Right. Yep. Do your thing. So you don't know who's watching. You don't know who's watching. You don't know who you're inspiring. You don't know who you're affecting in negative or a positive way. You just don't. So I don't try to compete with anybody except me. Because I could try to be you, right? You're better looking than me, so there I'm going to fail right there.
Not true.
So, or I could get you a wheelchair. You could try to be me, and you're going to fall short every time. Sure. You might get close, but you're going to fail at trying to be Matt Blanchard, and I'm going to fail at trying to be Derick. So why? I'm just trying to be a better version of myself today than yesterday. And today I'm doing that. So it's me versus me, and I'm going to fail, and we're supposed to fail.
Sure.
And I call it failing forward. So I will work on something, and I'll fail at that something. I will learn from that failure, and I will go again, and I will fail and I will learn from that failure and tweak something and go again and fail again. Like I fail constantly. I look forward to failure. I don't fear failing. I don't fear that anybody knows that I've failed. Like everybody listening to this, I'm going to walk one day. Can I today? No, I can't, but I'm going to. I've done it once. I'll do it again. So I'm, see the arrogance come out in there a little bit.
I like it though. There has to be a little arrogance, I think, to be confident. I
Yeah.
think there has to be a little blind belief to be confident.
I like that blind belief.
Yeah.
And sometimes the only one you got that believe in you is you.
Yeah. Well, I think it has to be at least you.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
could be other people too, but I think it has to be, maybe not even start with you, but it has to be you at some point.
Boy, I like that.
Well, I like your fall forward, dude. I wrote that down.
Yeah.
Or fail forward. I'm like, I like that.
Yeah, fail forward. Don't be afraid to fail. There's so many, and there's so many people who criticize you for failing, and they've never even gotten in the game.
Right.
But they're the first to say, "I told you so."
Right.
But they are anyway. Hey, those are the people that got to go.
That's another podcast.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because you haven't looked at the clock yet. But hey, so I surrounded myself with people, and we went to work, therapists, doctors, and I keep these ones in there. Scott Gillespie, I love you, Scott. Yeah, this guy. So my therapy session started out as an hour at a time, and I'd show up. And then he'd bump my therapy session to the very last hour of the day. And my therapy session would start from an hour, and then he'd on his own time go for another hour. So then it's 2. Bro, we got up to 5 hours every other day that this man spent with me to get me walking. Just because he believed, man. He believed. And Dr. Stephen Clark, this guy has saved my life more times than I care to say. Yeah, those 2 men right there, they're my those 2 men, my wife and my family. I can do anything with them.
That's your team.
Bro, that's my freaking team. And we win. We win, man. We win. So we go to therapy, and I'm walking with forearm crutches and doing good things, doing great things, and life's good. And my little girl, she was 12 at the time when I started going to therapy. And she was 8 years old. So 4 years into my therapy, I developed a dependence on pain medication. So I am not big with labels. Like I only hold the labels that I believe true of myself. So I'm not an addict. I'm not a recovering addict. I went through addiction. I'm not going to hold that label. I'm not depressed. I went through depression. So big difference between I'm depressed and I went through depression, or I'm going through depression. Don't wear a label you don't want to wear. So I developed this dependence on pain medication, and I was sent home with Oxycontin and lower tabs, and I didn't know what these drugs were other than when I took them, I could push this broken body hard.
Right.
And do impossible things. And after a year, that wasn't cutting it. So we bumped it to Oxy 30s, and then that wasn't cutting it. So we went to fentanyl, and then that wasn't cutting it. So we went to, morphine. Now that wasn't cutting it. Went back to Oxys. My lower tabs went from lower tabs to perks to Roxys. Like I was on 390 milligrams a day.
Wow.
So the highest milligram that my Dr. Clark has ever seen. And I knew I had a problem. I was taking my medication for my emotional pain, not so much my physical pain.
Like it got to that point.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like I'm all in on this. I'm all on it. Hey, God, I'm all in on this. Hey, everybody, I'm all in on this. And I'm doing everything I can. There's nothing left in the tank. Nothing. And that kept me sane too. Because at the end of every day, and I still wasn't walking, I could look myself in the mirror and say, there was no more to give today. And it kept me saying, because your all is enough. Your best is enough.
Right.
I don't care who says it wasn't, you know, and if that was your best, and that's enough. That's enough. And so that kept me sane, but I would continue to take these meds, and I didn't like the fact I was in a wheelchair still after 8 years of therapy every doggone day. Sure, I had my forearm crutches, but when we went on vacations, I had to be in a chair. I hate being in a chair. So I started medicating and checking out. So my little girl, after therapy, so every morning I'd wake up, take my Roxy's, go to therapy, push my body hard, and then I would, after therapy, take my Roxy's, wait for them to sink in, just, And one morning or one afternoon, my little girl said, "Hey, Mom, what are all those pills that Dad takes?" And she's 12. And I heard her. Now everybody, my family told me you got a problem. My friends had told me you got a problem. But my that little 12-year-old, I heard that. So I called up Dr. Clark and I'm like, "Look, now I'm altered at this point, right? I've got my Roxy's and Oxys in me. Hey, Dr. Clark, I've been taking these for emotional pain. And how many people are taking these damn things for emotional pain? And I'm not judging you. Hey, been there, done that." And it's calling him and telling him that was the scariest phone call I've ever made, because I knew I wasn't going to get any more meds after this. And he said, "Okay, Matt, look, you're on 390 milligrams a day. We're going to need to get you on Suboxone or methadone to deal through withdrawals." And I didn't know what these drugs were. I'm like, "Hey, what's that?" He said, we give them to heroin addicts. And I'm like, "I'm not a heroin addict. I'm going cold turkey, man." Click. That decision, I had no idea the repercussions of that decision. And I was so sick and didn't sleep in 3 days. The toxins were leaving my system. You can see I still have some scars from where I pulled out hair and scratched myself. And what my family did, and I thought it was really rude at the time, I mean, rude's a soft word, is they took my wheelchair away from me. So I couldn't leave the house.
Yeah.
All I could do is crawl around and try and bite their kneecaps. You know what I mean? So day 3, I'm going through my withdrawals and I'm on the shower floor vomiting. Every time I tried to sit up, just vomited everywhere until there wasn't anything left, and then just still vomiting. My wife standing above me trying to adjust the temperature of the shower so to stop my shivering. And I'd yell obscenities at her. It was bad. It was bad. Pain medication had turned me into a monster. A monster. And I finally got through that after 7 days. And it took about 8 months for me to feel normal again. And after that, things were good. Things were really good. And so let's see, my little girl started dating her husband in high school. So she's probably 18 years old. And every therapy, I'm thinking, okay, my little girl's going to get married one day. And dads walk their little girls down the aisle.
Right.
And I'm walking my little girl down the aisle, man. I'm doing this. I mean, I'm already walking with forearm crutches, and we're with single point canes, doing great with single point canes. I got to the point where I could walk with one cane, bro. One cane in my left hand.
The guy that's never supposed to walk again.
Yeah.
Right.
Check this out. So I drive back up to LDS Hospital, and I walk with forearm crutches up into this doctor's office, and I'm standing in the doorway, and he's sitting where you're at. I'm like, "Do you remember me?" And he's like, "David Blanchard, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "What can I do for you?" Standing there. I'm like, "You told me I would never do this." And he's like, "Well, what's that?" And I was like, "You told me I'd never walk." And he said, "You're not. Not without assisted devices, you're not." And he got up and he walked right by me.
Oof.
And I bawled and bawled and bawled. And it was exactly what I needed to hear. And I went back down to St. George, and every therapy, 2 things I thought about: my little girl and that doctor. That doctor telling me, and bro, I freaking got her done. And so things are good. Things are great. And so my little girl's getting married September 25th of 2021. February 12th of 2021, so 7 months before that, I get hit head on I-15 by a drunk driver. I was in the slow lane doing 80 miles an hour, and the Arizona Highway Patrol, she was in a Chrysler 300. She went through the median. She hit a big old cactus, and it took out her front headlights. And if you want to see it, go on my Insta. That's the one that's going viral right now. And you can't tell what it is. It looks like a bush. And she hit me. It's
dark?
Yeah, it's 8:30 at night.
Okay.
She goes through that cactus, and it takes out her front headlights and hits me head on at 120. And I'm going 80 miles an hour the other direction, so a 200 mile an hour impact. And she wasn't wearing her seatbelt, and she didn't make it. I suffered spinal fractures again, paralyzed again. All those 15 years of therapy, gone. I'd broken my right hip, my femur, my tib and fib were compound fractured. My truck had started on fire. I was trapped in my truck. So I get extracted from my truck. The first responders get there.
Holy shit, this guy's already paralyzed.
This is the funny story, bro. This is the craziest story right here. So I'm chilling in my truck finally, and my door's still on. I'm in my truck because they're working on the girl across the way. And I'm like, hey, I'm paralyzed. Everybody stops what they're doing. Everybody stops, man, because they're getting the jaws of life ready to cut me out, right? And they're like, no. I'm looking for my wheelchair. We find my wheelchair.
I was
paralyzed.
Okay,
I was paralyzed before, right? Because, bro, I am just hammered, broken up. And so now it's kind of funny, because now their guys are like, oh, okay, there's the reason why your foot's backwards and you're not, you're straight. And I remember thinking, this is how annoyingly positive I am. I remember sitting there in the truck thinking, oh my hell, I'm so glad I'm paralyzed.
Already?
Yeah, already. Oh my gosh.
You're like, if I could be feeling this pain right now, this would be terrible.
It would be horrible. Because I'm holding my foot. My left foot was upside down and backwards, and my tib and fib were I reached down, I could feel the bones. I was like, ooh, yeah, that's not good. And I'm holding my foot, and I try to put it back in there, and I'm like, oh, okay, I got to let go of that, and grab my right leg that come out this way, and then took a hard left that way. So, I bring it up and over, and the whole time I'm just like, I'm sitting there in my cab thinking, no way. Yeah. No way.
It's got to be a bad dream.
No way. No way. Because I didn't know what I'd hit. Like, so she went through the median, and she gets into the fast lane and cracks me in the slow lane. Like, that's how fast it happened at 120. And I'm going 80.
Did you see anything?
No.
I didn't even drive, and
I didn't even see it. I didn't even see anything.
Huh.
There was no time to react. There was nothing. And so I finally figure out, that mangled car over there that's tore in half is what I hit. And my truck, it had pushed the engine up into the passenger seat, up into, and I was trapped down where the brake and the gas pedal was at. So thinking I could push down with my legs and get back up onto my seat, and my body wouldn't respond. And so I had to use my arms and get up back up onto my seat. And that's when I was just like, no way.
Yeah.
No way. No way. And so I'm holding my foot and got my legs all dialed in, and the paramedic or the firefighters are like, are you hurting? And that's when I said, I'm paralyzed. And everybody, I'm like, no. I was paralyzed before. Yeah. So if there's anybody out there that's ever heard of anybody being paralyzed twice, I'd love to hear. I think I'm the only one on the planet that this has happened to.
Yeah, it's like lightning striking twice, man.
Right. So we talked about the energy a little bit when you and I just met a little while ago, and I am present now. This moment is the most important moment in my life. Like, I'm not guaranteed to make it home tonight. So why would I waste time? Why would I waste the present, talking about the past? Okay. So they're wasting the present talking about the past. I would rather spend the present talking about the future, where I'm going, who I've surrounded myself with, what my goals are, things like that, not how I'm paralyzed and, it wasn't my fault and, life's a downer and, bad things always happen to me.
Why me? Why me?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I've changed the question from why me? Why is this happening to me? To why is this happening for me? Why is this happening for me? It's like the cow and the buffalo thing, where they can both sense a storm coming, and the cow will turn and run from the storm. And now the storm catches it, and it's in the storm for a hell of a lot longer than this buffalo who's like, there's a storm coming. Let's go get it done and go run right into it, get through it.
Yeah.
So, in life, you're given a test, you're given how does that go? So there it is. So in academia, you're given a lesson, and then you take a test on that lesson. In life, you're given a test, and then you get to learn the lesson. So I want to get in and out as quick as I can. I want to run into the storm because I've been through hell. I truly been through hell. And I now realize on the other side of hell that I needed to be there because God was forging me into the weapon I've always been. So what? I go up to God and he says, "Hey, Matt, look at this board. You were hit twice and you were paralyzed twice and whatever's on this other side." And then on this, those two things still happened, but you are a motivational speaker who touched millions of people's lives. You overcame adversity, physical, mental, emotional challenges. You helped so many people in life. You didn't ever quit. Like, I don't know how to quit. I don't.
I can tell.
I don't know how to quit. So I would much rather have that story, who I was always supposed to be, even though it took paralysis to get me there.
Yeah.
And it did. And for anybody out there going through hell, don't stop there, man. Don't stop there. It's keep going. Turn into the storm, learn the lesson, and let's go. Life's not fair. And when I say that reverently, because life's not fair. And there are people who have lost children, and there's people who have gotten cancer. There are people who have lost spouses. Mason Sawyer, love you, bro. You guys want to hear a story? Well, he'll be on this podcast.
Yeah,
you guys
we'll
want to hear a
on.
story? Mace. Yeah. So I won't tell any more of that. There are people who have experienced true loss, and I'm built for paralysis, man. Obviously, I've done it twice, and I'll walk again. I will. I'll walk again. I'm that stubborn. I'm that freaking stubborn. My first accident happened at 30. My second accident happened at 46. 46.
I was going to say,
Yeah, sorry.
It had to be more than that.
Yeah. So first accident at 30, second accident at 46. Learned how to walk. That was taken from me again. So I didn't get to walk my little girl down the aisle. And that's okay. That's okay. Life happens for me, not to me. I could be bitter and angry and all this other jive. But who wants to be around that? For a minute, people are going to allow you to have a pity party, but the pity party gets old. I had a friend, so I'm laying in bed, and this was after the first accident, and I didn't want to do it. I'm having accidents. It's, dude, it's horrible. It's horrible. And, I'll never forget, he's sitting over in the corner of my room on a big bouncy ball. And he said, "I'll give you the rest of today, but tomorrow I'll be up here at 6 a.m. We're getting dressed. We're getting ready for the day. I don't know what the day holds, but you're not doing this anymore." So for anybody out there going through something, I'll give you today.
So that's what I was going to, when I stopped you earlier, that was what I was going to say. Like everyone has bad days.
Oh yeah.
But it's got to be a day.
A day.
It can't be 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 4 months, 6 years.
Because that compounds, right?
Yeah. Like have that. I've always been like, have those feelings, man. Like you're entitled to those feelings. Feel it. Figure out. And it's like the fail forward thing. If you need to figure out what to tweak, what to do. But dude, have your day.
Yeah.
But then tomorrow we got a new day.
And here's the awesome thing about bad days. I love bad days. Dude, when I'm getting my ass kicked, and you can keep this in here. So my number one thing as a paraplegic is losing control of my bowel as a man. And I will flat spiral. That's a bad day for me. A bad day. And I know there's other paraplegics listening to this thinking, yep, there it is right there. Somebody's finally freaking talking about it.
Yeah.
Well, without the absolute horribleness of that, you can't appreciate when you're on top. You have to have one. To have one, you have to have the other. So winning holds no value unless you've lost. It's you have to lose in life to appreciate winning. Like if you're going to go out and win all of the time, then what's the point? If you're going to go shoot par golf every time and you just knew that, hey, I'm going to shoot par golf. I already know this. Or I'm going to shoot 58. What's the point in golfing? What is the point? The point in going out and shooting 102 like Matt Blanchard, you know, and then having those good days of 86 or 88 or whatever. And I golf still to this day. I do everything I ever did before. But I didn't walk my little girl down the aisle, right, which I grinded for 15 years on. But my oldest son did. It was badass, man.
That's so cool.
So badass.
Then it's like it turns it into that almost. Like gave him an experience, right? Both of them.
He got
all three of you.
And for the rest of his life, I walked my little sister down the aisle.
Yeah.
Any wedding conversation comes up, I walked my little sister down the aisle. Why? Then tell the story.
Yeah.
Because we've all got a story to tell.
That's the podcast, dude. That's what this is.
Right? and my challenge would be this. If you were to write a book about your life, does that book inspire people? If it does, then keep going. If it doesn't, then there's some changes that need to be made. I'm going to leave my mark on this planet, man.
Yeah.
I am. I'm here to inspire and motivate. God made that extremely clear in that second accident. No more doing good stuff. Let's go do great stuff, because you're not reaching your full potential. And how many of us are in a job that we freaking hate?
I have this conversation all the time with people, man. Keep going.
Have the balls to quit.
Preach.
Yep.
That's how I feel.
Don't sit there and bitch to me for the next. I have friends that are still bitching about the job that they've had. Really, dude? I don't want to hear about it anymore. Yeah. You're not going to do anything about it. So go do something that changes this world. Go do something you love. Maybe it doesn't even change the world, but you love it. You'll never work a day of your life. I don't work. I do this.
Yeah.
And this is fun.
It is.
This is my jam. Now, this is not everybody's jam, and that's okay. Go find your jam.
Yeah, if your jam's like taking pictures of butterflies, go take pictures of butterflies.
And be the best butterfly picture taker on the planet, and make millions upon millions upon millions of dollars doing it. Just find your passion and find a way to make money at it. And you'll never work a day of your life.
Right.
You won't. Now, you're not going to be without challenges, because you have to have challenges. You have to. And I'm concerned about these kids, swear, that are lost, or they don't have a direction, or it's not coming, because it's an instant gratification, man. That you boom, there it is. Well, why isn't that happening in my career or whatever? Or maybe they don't even know which direction to go. What do you love? What do you love? Go make money at it. Well, I don't know how to do that. Well, then get rid of all the negative criticizing people.
Get around some people that do.
And get around the people that you dare say, hey, I want to be the best butterfly picture taker. And that people aren't going to be saying, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Butterfly picture taker. What do you mean?
1980, that doesn't exist. Does today.
Right? So
there's this thing called the internet.
dude,
I don't know
right?
if you've heard of it.
Oh my hell. Go find people who love and support your idea and go to work
Yeah.
and dare to fail. Gosh, man, learn from your failures, fail forward. It's going to be hard. It's supposed to be.
Can we talk about a little more if you have any failures that kind of come to mind? I talk about it all the time on here because I grew up playing sports, and we were like highly criticized when we failed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I look at it like this, like kids now, kids back then probably did too. I didn't. Like they would watch film,
Yep.
right? You watch film, you see what you did right, you see what you did wrong, you make the adjustments, Like we were never that. Like
Right.
you missed that ground ball at third, like you're just getting reamed.
Right.
Right. And so I think that's the difference between like it's failure versus what you said, a failing forward.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. It's you can fail and you can definitely fail backwards, but failing forward, like I think that's the tweak that people have to make.
Yeah. You need to be able to take criticism, constructive criticism.
And let me
Yeah,
preference
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So you need to be able to take that from someone that's done it,
Yes.
not Aunt
Yeah.
Sally.
Aunt
Right.
Sally doesn't know about butterflies.
Yeah, let's be honest.
You know
here.
what I mean?
You can't
Aunt
trust
Sally
Aunt
doesn't
Sally.
know about. If you're going to start a podcast, I don't have a podcast, but if I was going to start one,
Right.
I could talk to my boy,
Right.
right? Like, hey, how does this work, and what are we going to do? And
I mean, that's how this all started.
how many times you failed, bro? Tell me about the 4-hour episode,
Right.
right?
We learned a lot in those first like 15, 20 episodes.
And you didn't quit. We were talking earlier that most podcasts make it 4 episodes, and we're what in?
We're 121.
So
That's 2.5 years. We've done it every week for 2.5 years. We missed 2 weeks in 2.5 years.
wow,
Yeah.
that's impressive. That's impressive.
See, that's what we were talking about. Like, at what point is it impressive? Is it 100? Is it a year? Mallory, what do you think? Do you think that there's a threshold that makes it be like, we kind of did it?
I like to ask potential clients this question. I'm like, when does Joe Rogan stop? It's like, he doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Well, and it's something we've said too. Like, at what point are you done with a podcast? Like
Right.
when you die?
Yep.
You know, like when is there ever an end?
I'm sorry to let you know this, but you're bound to blue form for life. I think that's just something you have to define personally for yourself. But like, I don't know. Me and Blake talk about this all the time. We're like, you're not really, if you're serious, you're never really like done. You
Yeah.
know? It just, life keeps going. So you have more stories to tell. So you keep telling them.
Well, and like with us, and I don't mean to change subject here. Like my fear of doing this was, are we even gonna have enough people? Like I don't know that many people to
Fear,
come on.
bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fear.
And so I jumped on Facebook and was like, hey, thinking about starting a podcast. Who would want to be a guest? And I remember updating Mallory like 3 or 4 times through the night. And I was like, there's 20 people that said they'd be on. There's 30 people that said they'd be
That's
on.
awesome.
And because I was like, are we doing this once a month? Are we doing it once a week? And I can't remember now, Mallory, but there's 30, 40, something like that. And I was like, I guess we're doing this once a week because that's going to give us 52 people a year. We're already at 30 in like 4 hours.
Wow.
And so I've failed in so many things, man. Like going back to that, I failed in so many things. The biggest thing I've learned from it is you just got to do something. Like you got to move. Hopefully you move forward, but you've just got to move and do something.
Oh, if you're depressed, there, you hit it, dude. If you're depressed, then get out and go for a walk. Get the sun on your face. Move.
Yeah.
Move.
Yeah.
And especially, Mallory, don't take this the wrong way. Men, I think men need purpose. I think we all need purpose.
Mallory's kind of a guy, so she'll get it.
Yeah, you need purpose. And if you have lost your purpose, or if you thought, hey, I'm gonna go take pictures of butterflies, I'm gonna be the best on the planet, and then it doesn't happen so many right away,
Right.
then people quit, man.
Right.
Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't ever quit. You know, we practice because we were told practice makes perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lie.
Right.
Practice makes better,
Yeah, sure.
but does not make perfection is unattainable. Unattainable. And now I'm perfect. You're perfect. I am just trying to be a better perfect than I am today, tomorrow. And I'll fail. I know I'll fail.
Sure.
But I'll learn from that failure. So I'll be straight up. I killed it as a father. I did. I killed it as a father. Didn't miss games because of paralysis. As a husband, homeboy needs some work. Yeah, that's my downfall. My rock, my piece of iron, my ride or die. Think about all this shit that I've been through that we've talked about tonight. And now think all this shit that my wife's been through, plus keeping the family together.
I have it on here. Talk about wife.
Yeah, duh, man.
Matt, get out of here. Let's bring your wife in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you get me talking about my family, and
I picture when you were having withdrawals in the shower, when you were kind of telling that story, and it was giving me chills of just like, dude, I don't know your wife, never met, I don't even know her name, but like the strength that had to have been there. And I mean, honestly, it'd be interesting to hear her side of it too. Like, it's, dude, like,
let's get her on here.
I'm down.
Let's do it.
And but just like, in what keeps that going? Like, how many times could she have been like, I didn't sign up for this, like you caught yourself on earlier. I didn't sign up for this. I'm out.
Right.
Right.
You know, and everybody has a point, and you need to have a point. Ladies, listen, you're queens. You need to be treated like queens. And these young men who use all this bad language to identify a woman anymore, like, that's not who you need. That's not who you want. And guess what? If you're not getting treated like a queen, then he's got to go. He's got to go. You're enough. You've always been enough, and you're beautiful. You're perfect. You truly are. You're perfect. I believe that to my core. Because if any other woman tried to be you, they would fail. Think about that for a minute. If any other woman tried to be you, they would fail. You're the only perfect you. Just go to battle on yourself, man, and be a better version tomorrow than you are today. And if that means just getting out of bed and getting showered, or maybe just rolling over, then do it. You know, I have these, I have goals, okay? And I know I have goals, and then I have non-negotiables. And my non-negotiables what make me up. So I go to the gym every day. I cold plunge in 35-degree water every day. I don't watch pornography. I read a educational book for at least 20 minutes, and I don't eat McDonald's. Now, and why McDonald's? I'm not hacking on McDonald's because I love me.
That's why.
McDouble with max sauce.
You love it.
That's a large Coke and a large fry. Right? That's my jam. And because I love that so much, I was like, okay, that's going to be the hardest thing to cut out. And I haven't had McDonald's years.
Yeah.
Fatty, man. In a fatty. So every day when I fulfill that commitment to myself, that gives me pride. It gives me self-worth. It'd be like, I do hard things. And now I'll go throughout the rest of my day and do my thing. But those non-negotiables, those 5, and don't make a million non-negotiables. Make 5 non-negotiables that are non-negotiable. And don't set yourself up for failure that you're going to read a book a day or whatever, unless you're going to do it.
Right.
But get 5 things that are non-negotiables in your life that are not goals. But this is what Matt Blanchard does. And now my goals, dude, I'm going to speak at Madison Square Garden. How?
I love it.
I don't know how, but that's the fun, is figuring out how. By being on this podcast is getting my socks on.
Sure.
To get one more step closer to Madison Square. It is. Who knows if somebody on here's not listening. And that's the other thing. Whatever you want to be, first you got to get rid of negative criticizing people. They've all got to go. I do not have one in my life. No, Matt, no, not one. Because my energy, they are so put off by my energy, my positivity, and they can't be around me. And vice versa. I literally have 0 negative criticizing people. Now, in the beginning, the negative criticizing thoughts, that was a big one for me because I was focused on all the things I couldn't do anymore. And well, you can't do this now, and you can't do this, and you can't do this, and you can't do this. And negativity just breeds more negativity.
Right.
So
that's the one day, get over it.
So, okay. So the women, anytime you have a negative criticizing thought, I'm enough. I've always been enough, and I'm beautiful. The men, we got to keep it a little more simple. Okay. I'm the man, and I am the man. I do hard things every day. I keep commitments to myself every day. It doesn't matter what time of night it is. If I have not hit the gym, I'm going. It's a non-negotiable. That voice in your head that tries to talk you out of getting in 35-degree water each morning, like, it's not there anymore because it already knows the answer. It already knows, hey, don't even mess with him. So negative criticizing thoughts, guys, you're the man. You're the man. Say it enough times, you will believe it. Ladies, 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 you're enough. You've always been enough, and you're beautiful. And if your man or your boyfriend or your ex or what doesn't see that, they got to go. They've got to go. They really do. You're perfect. Try somebody else. Try to be you.
Right.
Go through what you go through. No, I'm not. I don't want to do it. I'm not signing up for it. So, daddy-daughter dance, right?
Okay. I actually have wedding on here. I was going to expound on the wedding because I think when I heard about that, to me, it just like gave me chills about the whole thing. So
it was awesome. So we got to the point before the second accident where with the one cane that I was walking with, I could be on her shoulder and then real quick give her a spin. It was going to be amazing, right? And then that was all taken. So Brooklyn, myself, her husband, and the wedding coordinator, Brooklyn and I choreographed a dance together. So she came over to therapy with me, and we learned how to do a dance in a wheelchair. So at first I rolled out, and she brought me up to a stand, and she held me, and she had to support all my weight. I mean, and so that was awesome. And then her husband brought a wheelchair in behind her and sat her down, got her all situated. Well, she sat me down. Then he sat her down, got her all situated, and we jammed out to Wiz Khalifa, man. That'll tell you a little bit about our family. Like we live, man. We live hard. And because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. So don't have plans for tomorrow.
Sure.
But don't be so focused on tomorrow that it gives you anxiety. And don't be so caught up in the past that it's giving you depression. Stay present. Bro, I've got no anxiety or depression right now. It's me and you. And this is bomb because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And you asked me earlier, you got somewhere to be with you. Because I don't know how long this is going to go or what we're going to talk about.
There's
or
no caps. Yeah, nothing on it.
Yep. And when we're done here, I'll call my bride and we'll move on to the next thing and see if I need to stop by the grocery store and get the cheese. So a lot of times people look at me in a wheelchair and think, oh man, he instantly, he's had a rough life. He's got it hard. Nope, not a chance. Not a chance. I can't tell you the last time I got a door for myself.
Yeah. They build those ramps for you.
Bro, right. Either automatic door or somebody's getting the door for me. Right. Those ramps, I don't have to do the stairs anymore. Yeah. And I get everybody's A game. And I smile at the world and the world smiles back at me. So everybody sees my challenge.
Those teeth, dude.
Right?
You got that straight smile, bro.
Right. Handsome. Hey, the accident didn't hurt the money maker.
Yeah, I can
right?
tell.
So life's good. Life is good because everybody sees my challenge. And I accept help. Hey, you want to get that door for me? I can get my own door. But hey, yeah, get that door for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I might smack you on the butt. If you're a dude on the way by, smack you on the butt. Thanks for the door. If a girl, I'm going to give you a fist bump. Hey, thanks for the door.
Glad you
I might get in a little bit of trouble either by my wife or by the girl. It's the last door I'm getting for you. But life's good. But I don't get to see your challenges, bro. Like you walked in here. Do I wish I were able-bodied like you? No. I know I do not.
God comes down today and says you can have your legs back.
Absolutely not. No way. Nope. And anybody out there thinking bullshit, let me explain. I already had to mourn that man. And a man that I thought he was a man's man, like the guy, the dude. I am the guy, the dude now. I'm a better human being because of paralysis. And the doors that this has opened, bro, I wouldn't be sitting here with you tonight if I was still working construction, wiring buildings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so no, the answer is unequivocally no. Because I'm not mourning this cat to become something. I don't even know what that something is.
Right.
And I don't even care because I love being me. I love being me. I'm in love with myself. I really am. And I think that's the first person you need to fall in love with. And the rest of the world will look at you like, what is that? What is that? And then you come around me and you think, okay, all right, okay, he's got okay. And then you look at my wife, my kids, and my life. I'm not handicapped. I'm not disabled. We all have certain abilities, but I don't have a disability. Bro, I don't even wait in line at Disneyland. I get front row Joe parking everywhere I go. See how I do that?
all of that.
I do that all the time. Like even when I speak, we'll get serious and then, let you think about something and then I'll
Matt was like a minute or two late. I thought he just had to walk here.
But. It was all uphill. That's what he said. So life's good. Challenges are good. I look forward to challenges. I love challenges. Overcoming challenges, putting a problem together and solving that problem, whatever that problem is, whether it's a relationship or working on a car. I've changed out my transmission. I'm on my own lawn.
Riding lawnmower.
No.
Oh.
But it is self-propelled, bro. It is self-propelled. It is. It's all, hold on. I'll be like, hey, what's up? Yeah. My neighbors would be like, Matt's mowing lawn again. Yeah. But, there's always a way. There's always a way. It just might look a little different. So hiking, I miss hiking a lot. But when if we were to go to Lake Powell together and I want to go cliff jump, then we call it a Matt pack. I would get on your back. You'd backpack me up to whatever, and I would jump off I'd push myself off the cliff.
Yeah.
I do everything I ever did before. There's down at, Newport Beach, they have automatic wheelchairs with big old inflatable tires on them. Okay. So I can mob on these things and throw footballs and frisbees and get, mob.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I walk down and let the water come up into my wife's feet. Like, is it what it was? It's better. It's better. Yeah. So, yeah, my little girl's wedding day was one of the best days of my life. Really was. Other than my wedding, maybe the birth of my kids, very few other days. That day was special, and it went off exactly how it was supposed to. Yeah. And I think a lot of times, at least with me, I want to do it my way. And I would be trying to throw a square peg in a round hole. And now I don't try to do that anymore. I don't. I listen.
Now you just walk it up and put it in.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I'm sorry. I'll stop.
you just, yeah. Again with the walking. What we're going to do is we're going to have a wheelchair war. Okay. Yeah.
I'm not trying to be you, man. No, dude, it's like I said, when you walked in, you could just tell that you're ready to go.
There it is again, walked in. Hey, you guys, you won't let it go. You won't let it go.
I didn't mean it on that one. When he wheeled in.
Yeah.
No, I honestly, the first thing that I noticed was your wristbands, because I shook your hand and I saw your wristbands, and I'm not sure what the other one says, but the one says Inspire.
Yep, I Inspire. So that's my company. I Inspire.
Oh, okay.
My wife's, and this is my slogan: dig in, dig deep, and get it done.
Love it, dude.
Yeah. No excuses.
We had Kel Goodman on here.
Stud.
Yeah. And I'm still forming all of this, but he has like sign that says like Goodman's do this, like at his house for him and his family and kids, right?
Oh yeah.
And like Goodman's Finish, Goodman, I can't remember them all, but we ran through a couple of them. And that was something for me. So I have a 3-year-old. He just turned 3 a couple days ago, 3-year-old son. And so I'm trying to like start putting those things in order now.
Yeah.
And so I told my wife like, hey, I really want to do this, but I want to be able to come up with some stuff that really means something, And your guys' slogan, when I'd heard you say it on Cade and Terry's, I was like, man, I love that. Yeah. Like, just dig in and get it done.
Yeah, dig in, dig deep, and get it done. That came from Scott Gillespie, my therapist. Oh, man.
And it's like a full-on slogan now for you guys, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we've every one of us got it tattooed on us.
There you go.
Yep. It's the way we live. It's the way we live. So, here's an interesting story. So we're driving to California to go to Disneyland, and there's a lady broke down on the side of the road with flat tire, and everybody's just passing her. And so we pass, and then we back up to her, and I come up, hey, what's up? She's like, I don't even know where the spare's at, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, oh yeah, we'll change out your wheel. So my son's getting my wheelchair out. I transfer in, and this lady just starts bawling. Okay. And we change out her wheel, and now I'm just stickery because the kids were little, but we got her done. Come to find out, she lives here in St. George, and I can't remember her name, but she might be listening to this right now. But that moment changed her life. It did. It changed her perspective on things, and that's really what I want to do, is give other people a perspective that life's hard. It's supposed to be.
Right.
It always has been. It always will be. Get over it and get on with it. That's what it is. Be grateful for the bad days. Without the bad days, without the horrible days, without the days you're getting your ass straight handed to you, then you can't appreciate the days where you're on top and everything when your toast is landing butter side up. So lean into what's the lesson to be learned. Don't be a cow. Don't run away. Don't run from the storm. It's going to catch you. It's going to catch you. Turn into it. Figure it out. And learn the lesson. And you'll become a better person for it.
Do you know Eric Thomas?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So he does a talk about, it's actually like I think it's the As Bad as You Want to Breathe video.
Yep.
And he talks about, it's very brief. It's not even the subject, but it's very brief. He says he has a student come into his office crying, and he says, don't cry to give up, cry to keep going.
Right.
He's like, you're already in pain, get a reward from it, is what he says. And I've thought about that a lot, and I'm like, it's funny because I like Shrek, man. Let's just throw it out there.
Right on, I like
Shrek, okay? and I've talked about this on here before, but there's when they're going to the castle, right? And they have that rickety bridge over the lava and everything. And the donkey's going over the rickety bridge, and he gets halfway, and a board breaks, and Shrek's, don't look down. Look down. Right. He's like, I'm looking down.
Yep.
And Shrek says, come on, man, you're almost here. Just get across the bridge. And he says, well, I know that half is safe. Dude, and that's hit me a lot. I don't know why, dude. It's a good old Shrek. But I'm like, how many people turn around and go back because they know that half was safe when they've got it? And it's the same thing of like, you're swimming from one end to another, and you get halfway, but you don't know you're halfway. You turn around and go back.
Right.
There's a lot of different ways to illustrate this, but Donkey did it for me. I just thought, I know that half is safe, but why not take that risk and keep going when that reward is right there staring you?
Right there.
Right. So I don't know. I'm on a kick right now of like taking a risk and doing it because, nothing ever gets done. It's like you'd said about it being impossible. Well, if it's impossible for me to walk until I do it, and then it's no longer possible.
Right.
Or no longer impossible.
So Mount Everest, right?
Yeah.
The tallest peak in the world. Back in the day, and anybody who'd ever tried to climb Mount Everest died. Like, what are you talking about? You're going to go climb Mount Everest? It's impossible, bro. Everybody's died until they've done it.
Right.
You know how many people have summited Mount Everest?
Hundreds.
6,336.
Wow.
Yep. 5-minute mile was a big thing back in high school with me.
Impossible.
No high schooler had in the 90s had broke a 5-minute mile. and it was impossible. Dude, there's a kid in Cedar City that runs a sub 4 mile.
What?
The world record for the mile is 3:43. 3:43 minutes and 43 seconds. I can't do that going downhill.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do it in a car.
Dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, you can't do it going downhill now or back then?
Ever. You know, I would never try anything. It depends on the grade, I guess. I don't know. I'm not trying. But it's always impossible until it's not. Now, I'm a T12 complete spinal cord injury who's walked. So, and I bring hope to a hopeless situation. And if we all brought a little bit of hope to hopeless situations, boy, we got something going there.
Yeah.
Man. We're cooking with gas.
Can we talk a little bit, if you're okay with it, about what the hospital does with you now?
Yeah.
If that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's great. It's great. So if we have,
because they don't ask me to come do this. I don't know why, but go ahead.
If there's a trauma one, like we're talking either brain injury, amputation, spinal cord injury, stroke, They come to the acute rehab, and I will come in and mentor these patients and show them, hey, life's not over. This is how I do it. So they get to see me drive a vehicle. Oh, I can still drive a vehicle? Yeah, you bet you can. They get to see me surf. Oh, I can still, yeah. So I get to take them through getting the cheese at the supermarket. I can get the cheese. Yeah, you can still shop. Yeah. And because you don't know anymore.
Right.
You don't know anything anymore because you can't roll over, sit up, or get your socks on. So if I can't do that, I clearly can't do anything else. And so we go through that and I mentor them. And as you can imagine, we become very, very close friends. And then I ask them to come and mentor as well. And sometimes we have groups, you know, if Intermountain reaches out, and we'll have groups or I'll come and speak and just let people know, you know, I do everything I did before, just a little different, just a little bit different. And so can you. So the only limiting belief is the 6 inches between your ears. That's it. And it really comes down to that with anything. Now, it might not go off the way you envisioned it. Like Kevin Hart says, I want you to go to sleep. Go to sleep right now. And his son right there standing up, right? Like, I want you to go to sleep the way I saw you going to sleep, not the way, you know. So we could do, it might not go off the way you saw it going off, but it'll still go off. And I come back to my little girl's wedding. That's the best thing, man. That's it. Like, life happens for me, not to me. I'm not a victim. I'll never play the victim card. Now, have I asked why? You bet. I'd be lying to you.
You're still human.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, why? This is why.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was just pointing at. This is it right here.
This is why.
Madison Square Garden's right. Why?
You bet your butt, man. And it's coming. It's coming. I don't know how. We're going to get there, though. We're going to get there. It's going to be good.
How long have you been speaking?
So that's the interesting thing, too. So right when I got hurt, I started speaking at my faith. They have different things. And so I'd go to these young men, young women activities, or I would go to a conference or something, and I would start speaking there. Mm-hmm. And I was horrible. Straight up, man. I was horrible at this thing. Then I had one of my buddies named Clay Alquin. Love you, Clay. He gave me an opportunity at his, company. And I did that, and I was horrible. But I filmed, and anytime I spoke, I filmed it. So I was horrible. I knew that this is what I wanted to do. So I don't know if anybody's familiar with Hiram Smith, with Franklin Covey. He passed away a couple of years ago. But so I reached out to Hiram Smith. Hey, Hiram, I want to be a public speaker. I know you're a public speaker who charges $50K. Sign me up. Yeah. I want to do that. And Hiram coached me. And then I got with another guy named Mike Schlappy. And if anybody doesn't know of him, he has a book called shot happens. Not shit happens, but shot happens. He got shot by his best friend at 16. Mike Schlappe is I think 2 or 3 time gold medalist in wheelchair basketball, and maybe a bronze and a silver in there. So yeah, shot happens to all of us. Shot happens. It's like, what do we do with it? Same with Mason Sawyer, the 90-10. 10% of life is what happened. 90% is how we deal with it.
Oof.
Yeah.
So that's what that means.
Bro, Mason
So
will
shout
rock.
that out. That's his podcast?
Yep. Yeah. Mason Sawyer's podcast. Please go. It's the 1090 rule. So it's the number 10 and then 90 spelled out NINETY. And go. I'm not going to explain Mace because Mace will be on this podcast.
Yeah.
But that guy is an absolute stud. Love you, Mace. So surround yourself with people who give you the best opportunity to be successful and go to work. Like, no excuses. Dig in, dig deep, and get it done. It's going to be hard. It's supposed to be hard.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. You're getting your ass kicked? Good.
Yeah.
I know that sucks like to hear, especially if you're getting your ass kicked right now. Good.
Have you been talking in schools at all?
Oh, yeah. So
okay.
I've talked to almost every school down here. I speak at universities. I just got done with Utah Tech's student athletes, recovery centers, at corporate events, mastermind, you name it.
Yeah.
My message, team building. If you want to talk about team building, there we go. Let's go.
The thing is, like, you were a successful businessman before all this even happened.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother life ago, man.
Dude, it was crazy. See, like I say, my brothers say, everything you touch turns to gold. Well, because I grind, man.
Yeah,
I
that's
grind.
not by chance.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grind.
The people that work harder tend to be more lucky.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, and with that, more opportunity comes.
Right.
And the more people show me your friends, I'll show you your future. So that is not a cliche. That is a fact. If you want to be a millionaire, go hang around millionaires. If you want to be a billionaire, here you go. Here's the secret sauce, millionaires. If you want to be a billionaire, help other people become millionaires. And by default, you'll become a billionaire. That's straight from a billionaire's mouth. Okay. Yeah. Show me your friends. I'll show you your future. So are you busy talking? You and your friends talking? Or are you busy doing?
Right.
So get busy doing.
Last thing I want to touch on that you talked about with Caden was you don't negotiate with terrorists.
I do not negotiate with terrorists, man.
Dude, when you said that, I was like, I love that. So explain that a little further,
All right.
what that means.
Yeah, well, I'm America, bro. We don't negotiate with terrorists. So every morning when my alarm goes off at 5 a.m., it doesn't matter what time I go to bed at night, like I'm getting up at 5. And the very first thing I'm doing is getting in 35-degree water. And does it suck? Yeah.
Sure.
Is it cold? Do I want to be asleep? All the things. But I don't negotiate with terrorists. And the terrorist is me. It's in my mind. So now I wake up. It's almost like a robotic almost. And that it sounds cold. It is cold.
Sure.
But you build up. You get used to it.
You can do it. You can do hard things.
Oh yeah. I've been doing it for a year or so. So get in there, and here you go, ladies. There is no amount of cardio that you can do. No amount of cardio that you can do that will give you the same results as far as losing fat and becoming shredded as submerging yourself in sub 50-degree water 3 to 5 minutes a day, daily. You bet money. You watch.
That's some Wim Hof stuff right there.
It really is Wim Hof. Yeah. And it works. It really does. So when I don't want to go to the gym because it's 11:30 at night and I hadn't been that day.
It's okay, dude. You can miss one
right?
day.
I don't negotiate with terrorists, man. When I'm going to go buy McDonald's on the way home, right? And the more you do that, though, the less you think about it. I already know I'm not stopping at McDonald's.
Right.
And that voice, it knows I'm not stopping at McDonald's because I don't negotiate with terrorists. So what are your 5 non-negotiables? Read a book, whatever they are, okay? Whatever they are. And go to work on those 5. And as you accomplish those 5, so for me, McDonald's probably should come off the list because I'm not going to go back.
Now it's a podcast once a week.
Yeah, if you eat that stuff, you know how you feel.
Right.
Right? I mean, it tastes so good. That mac sauce, they put crack in that mac sauce, man. I want some mac sauce. But yeah, you feel like a POS after you eat that. I probably need to throw something else on there. But yeah, so that's what I mean by I do not negotiate with terrorists.
I love it.
And that terrorist being that voice in my head.
Right. It's like Andy Frisella calls it the bitch voice.
Oh,
right?
is that what he is? That?
Yeah. So it's like the voice trying to talk you out of doing the things that you need to do.
Right. Right. So, and that's another thing is men. Women find it very attractive when men do what they say they're going to do.
Yeah.
And so if you say you're going to take out the trash, then take out the mother effing trash. Don't, have your wife come the next morning. I thought you were going to take out the trash. Oh, I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah. Bullshit. Go take out the trash.
On, babe.
You told me you're going to take out the, just do what you say you're going to do. And here's a big one for me. If you tell your kids you're going to do something, fucking do it. Because my dad didn't. And I'll tell you, I've been in the starting blocks looking around for my dad who promised me he'd be there. So, yeah.
That's the biggest one.
Yeah. But it also made me who I am.
Yeah.
And he taught me how to be a father. Taught me what not to do.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taught you what not to do. Taught you who to be by the wrong example.
Yeah. Don't tell your kid you're going to do something and then put it off for the next day. Or if you say tell your kids you're going to be somewhere, you be there, man. You be there. You freaking be there. I don't care. I do not care. That you be there. Stop making excuses. It's bullshit. Now you got me going. Now, that terrorist, whatever. I don't give it. I don't care what that terrorist. I don't care. I don't. Hell or high water, I will be there. And my family knows that. My family knows that. And that's attractive to women. That's attractive to women. So guys out there dating, do what you say. Just do what you say you're going to do.
Well, I think a step further in that, it's like I do what I say I'm going to do, which means I keep my promises to myself, which means I gain confidence, which girls are attracted to confidence.
There you go.
Boom.
Boom.
That's full circle,
that's a freaking mic drop right there. That's what that is.
Well, I've talked a lot about that recently. It's just like, it's like you got to, like Justin Prince was just on here and he was talking about you got to have courage to start that whole loop.
Yeah.
And so if you have that courage, it's like, just start. Dude, you got to gain some confidence. Well, how do I gain confidence? I had a guy tell me the other day, I need to keep him accountable. I'm like, no.
Right.
Like, you need to keep yourself accountable. That's how you gain confidence.
Right.
Yeah.
And keeping yourself accountable with those 5 things is you will gain confidence, self-worth. You watch you blossom, man.
Right.
Watch you blossom. I tell you. Yeah. Yeah, it's a freaking bomb. It's not rocket science. It's really not. It's not rocket science. Just do what you say you're going to do. Make a commitment to yourself that are non-negotiables, not goals. I don't have a goal to make it to the gym or a goal to cold plunge.
Yeah. This is what I do.
This is what I do. It's what I do. So, and every morning, believe me, until I'm in there, I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that.
And then you're like, all right, we're doing it.
But I can only feel half of it.
It's only half as bad for you. Yeah, dude. So I've got a 3-year-old. I mentioned that, dude. It changed. I've been open about it on here. Like, I didn't know if I wanted kids. I mean, I was 30, 31. My wife was 30.
Yeah.
Our whole plan was like, we got married 21, 22. I believe I was 22. And we were going to get her through school. I was going to try and build a business. When she was through school, we would talk about kids to, get in her career. And we did all that. And it was like the plan. And she's like, okay, dude, like I'm through all of this. I'm in a career. I'm almost 30. It's maybe start time to talking about this. And I'm like, yeah, but we've got it so nice. Like we can go do whatever we want. We've made more money than we've ever made,
right.
All this. And she's like, no, like we're having kids. Right. So it's time. And so we went a year without being able to get pregnant. And then it was funny, like it's not funny, but the day that we had the appointment with the specialist.
Yep.
The night before that, she tested and she was pregnant. And I was just like, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, I I've talked about my dad a lot on here. He's passed away now. He took his own life a few years ago.
Oh, damn.
And he was a great dad in my childhood. And then once I became like 14, I was more mature than he was.
Right.
And like, then he just turned into like our buddy, not my dad, you know? And if other people want to listen about my dad more, I talk about him on here all the time. But, so I felt like, okay, now I'm taking the responsibility on of this kid. And that was what I was scared of. Cause like, I didn't want to repeat what my dad, who my dad was, how he ended up, you know, all of that. It was a lot easier to just not have the responsibility.
Sure.
You know, and like my wife is very, very, very independent. And so it's like, she can go do what she wants to do. I can go do what I want to do, you know, and then we come back and dude, and then when I found out I was having a son, I mean, I was like, I really hope it's a boy from like day one,
Right,
you know?
Right. Because with boys, you only have to worry about one wiener.
Dude, I say the exact same thing.
It's a fact.
Did you steal that from me? And so when I found out, and I didn't know if we'd have more kids, but like I wanted the oldest to be a boy.
Yep.
And so anyway, so William is born. And man, it just switched everything.
Right.
And it's like financially, everything that we had, we were stable, but he may not be.
Right.
Like, what's his life in 30 years? And so it really like, and it made me start getting out of the box. It made me push myself. It made me get uncomfortable. It made me start a podcast. It made me start building my network. It made me start. Yeah. I mean, like we had mentioned before we started, I just started the carnivore diet, and like, that's him. Like
bro, you're doing hard things, man.
Well, I'm trying, man. I mean, I work a few different jobs. I'm trying to build stuff, and I'm in the thick of it. Like like Amanda and I are paycheck to paycheck a lot of the times. Yeah. And I'm just like, we're in the middle of it, like just trying to figure it all out, trying to push forward. And, but man, when I look at that kid, I'm like, all right, this is why.
Dude, and how old's William?
3, just turned 3.
Yeah, bro. Is there anything better than him seeing you and Dad?
Right.
That's your name, man.
I know. I've told him, like, sometimes he'll call me Derick.
Yeah.
Because Amanda called my wife. Oh,
yeah.
And he'll call me Derick, and I'm like, no, dude, I'm Dad.
Right.
Like, you call me Dad.
I'm Dad.
And even sometimes when he has said it for the 4,000th time that day,
right,
and I'm getting a little irritated, like, what, dude? What do you want?
Right.
You know, I'm still like, I hope he never stops calling me Dad.
Right.
You know?
You know, my kids, they would call me Dad or Matty Blanch. Hey, Matty Blanch. You know, and I love that.
It's
man.
Not bruh.
No, not bruh. Not bruh or dude or
dude.
Or homie or any of that kind of stuff. No, it's Matty Blanchard, Dad. And yeah, dude, it's being a father is the greatest honor that I've, I owe, you know, and that's another reason why I'm working so diligently on becoming a better husband is, my boys need to see how to treat a woman, you know, and there's rules with that there's never a time ever to put your hands on a woman out of anger, ever. She's coming out with you with a bat, then turn and run the other way. I don't care. So my boys know that if they ever put their hands on a woman out of anger, and they don't come to my house, man, because I will work you. That's a non-negotiable. And in turn, my little girl knows that even my brothers, me and being as buggy as I could, they weren't allowed to touch me because you're not allowed to. Not out of anger, you're not, you know? And so her husband, he'll never, and he's a great guy already because she chose a great one, man. And I'll never have to worry about that with them. But she chose a great one because she knew her worth.
Right.
You know, and so, yeah, my daughter, she's a badass bitch, man. I'll tell you. I love you might need to cut that one out. My daughter does hard things. She's a nurse. She's going to be a mama. Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. I'm going to be a grandpa for my first time.
One?
Yeah.
Congrats,
dude.
Bro.
So stoked to see what grandpa love feels like. Yeah, so stoked. And the boys, you know, the boys are hard on themselves. They're at home and inflation's out the freaking roof. and a starter home's average $550 now, I guess.
There's no such thing as a starter home now, price wise.
Yeah. And so what? You're going to go into a $3,500, $4,000 payment for a 1,700 square foot house anymore. And this too shall pass, man.
Yep.
So what opportunities do you have? If you're in the same situation my sons are at, so I just tell them, rat hole your money. The time will come. Have that down, so you don't have to pay RPI. You know, all the things, right?
Right.
Or you can sit here and say, "Oh, this sucks. This is happening to me. No, this is happening for us." Even this why? I don't know. I don't. I'm not the guy to answer that question, but I do know that we learned from the 2006 recession. I guess, you know, I don't know fear mongering or whatever, but I hear a worse one's coming. We made it through the last one. We're going to make it through the next one. It's all going to be okay. I know all the bullshit that's going on over in the Middle East. It's going to be okay.
Right.
It's in the end, it's all going to be okay. And so if it's not okay, it's not the end. Plain and simple. That's just the way it is. It's all going to be okay. It's all going to work out. It really will. If you never quit and you fail forward, it will all work out in your favor. It really will. You might not see it right now because you're in the trenches.
Right. You're in the box, man.
And that may be hard to hear maybe, but just keep grinding. Just keep grinding. And if you're not in the trench or you've dug your own damn trench, stop complaining and get out of the trench. My hand's here to help you up. Get out of there. Go start taking pictures of butterflies, man.
There you go.
Yeah. Do something you enjoy.
Cool, man. I think that's a good spot to wrap it up unless you got something else.
No, that's about, well, let's see. I would love for anybody listening to go find me on Instagram.
Yep.
At Matt Blanchard 3. Or Facebook or anything like that. That's where you'll just DM me. I'll come speak to your company. Team building, overcoming adversity, lots and lots of different things. Go ahead and reach out to any company that I've ever spoke to, and they'll give you the 411.
So do they have to reach out to you to book you speaking, or do
Yes.
you have a website for that
No.
or anything?
So the website's being developed, but with social media being the way it is anymore, that my website will pretty much be a landing page that will take you to my socials.
Got you.
So,
Okay.
so go find me on social, like, comment, share, and yeah, let's go. Let's go change the world.
I love it, dude. All right, guys, that's episode 121. Matt Blanchard. Go follow him. Go be a part of it. If you hear he's speaking somewhere, make sure you go be a part of it. I've really enjoyed hanging out with you today, dude. And I got to get some of your buddies and your wife on. Talk about some of this.
Too easy, man. That's too easy. That's the thing. Okay, so you have to ask. You do. You have to ask, because if you don't, and anybody else listening, I know we're wrapping it up, but if you don't ask, then how do I know? I don't know how to help you,
right?
Unless you ask, and no ask is too big or too small. So ask, bro. We're going to lunch, and I'm going to give you
everything.
Yeah. I'll open it up. I'll open my network up to you. So your network is your net worth.
Love it.
Yep.
Cool. All right, guys, make sure you like, comment, share. If you think someone needs to hear this message, which I know everyone that listens to this will definitely have someone, make sure you share this with them. And again, go follow Matt. All right, guys, we'll talk to you next week.
Cool. Right on.